All right, getting ready to get this thing going. Get this sound right. There we go. All right, y'all. Got a few people in here already, so I'm gonna get started because I probably won't get on tonight. I got stuff to do, so I said let me go ahead and schedule this thing for 3:30. All right, so give me 1 minute. Pull this stuff up here so we can get to going. Mm. Let's see here. Marcus Bell, what's going on? Good night of fights last night. Good night. Good nights, right? Good fights, bad judging. Good fights, bad judging. Let's see, Mark Robinson, what's up? Okay, there we go. So yeah, let's get going here at the 2 minute mark. We get into this. We're gonna start with the first fight. Just kind of want to run through that one real quick. Pierre Rodriguez and Kay Hansen, right? Okay, there we go. All right, y'all. So yeah, like I said, I just wanted to jump on and do this thing now. I know it's kind of throwing y'all off. I said 7 o'clock, but I don't know if I'll be on later. Probably, yeah, I'm not gonna be on later tonight. Got something to do. But yeah, man. Uh good night. Yeah, good night. UFC 273 turned out to be a good card. So let's talk about it. We'll talk about these women fights first, and then we'll kind of go into some of the men's fights, of course, on the main card as well. I want to talk about those. Yeah, yeah. Mark Roberts said good fights, bad. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's always like the big story of some of these cards, right? So yeah, man. I feel like I went 3-0 as far as my picks. I said, look, Pierre Rodriguez, she got her win over Kay Hansen. I saw that coming. Of course, Rocky Pennington, just too much for Aspen Ladd. I never really seen Aspen Ladd, like I said, with this, with this explosiveness or just like this gift that was gonna like get her to a title shot. You know what I mean? And I think another fight the last fight against Norma Dumont was proof. The GDR fight, people still thought that was premature, but the Rocky fight really kind of solidified that. But oh man, this Dern Torres fight, oh goodness, come on, man. Like, I'm not buying it. When people tell me about somebody coming forward, that ain't enough, man. You got to do more than come forward. That's kind of BS to me. Coming forward and not being effective, if you ain't landing nothing, that ain't nothing, man. I mean, I'm starting to understand where you know where it's coming from, like when people can't say it's robbery, but that's what I always say, man. Like, these judges, like, I mean, somebody like Torres, in her situation, you got four opponents. You got the person in the octagon with you, then you got the three judges ringside, right? So to me, it's like she could have did she could have did exactly what she did, and win on points in our opinion. But it's always them judges that are looking for they're looking for excitement. They're looking for this type of aggression that's not really even effective in my opinion. They just want somebody coming forward. They just want somebody coming forward all the time, and that's not enough. Like, if you coming forward, how is yeah, that's pressing the fight, but I mean, you ain't really doing anything because, again, Mackenzie Dern, all around, her footwork wasn't much to me to make me say she was doing anything effective, right? I think fighting off the back foot is more so impressive. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right, Marcus. Some of these fights, these close robbery fights, they need to be ran back. They do, because I think it's just like one of those situations where you can't really tell who's the best. And somebody like Dern didn't really prove anything in my eyes, right? She just skated by with another win till she gets to a point where somebody with the dominance like Marina Rodriguez is going to shut it down again, right? That's just what's going to happen. But let's go back real quick before I get into all of that, because I'm gonna be on about an hour. Be on about an hour here. Let's talk Pierre Rodriguez and Kay Hansen real quick. I had to go with Pierre Rodriguez in this fight. You know, she was just the more, I think, all around, just the more committed fighter to what she was going to do, even though neither one really did like anything impressive or stand out. You know, this is Pierre Rodriguez, her UFC debut. Shout out to her. She got her win, but I wanted to see more of a statement maker in there. You know, I wanted to see her go in there and bang it out with that energy she had in LFA. Like, there's been times where Pierre Rodriguez, she used to get a little cocky. I saw like a couple of her fights when she be banging it out with somebody, and you know they cracking her on the chin, and she like egg them on to come on stronger. But like, I didn't see that in this fight. You know, I think she knew she was in there with a UFC level opponent, even though Kay Hansen's not like the most dangerous or the best UFC level opponent. You could see it in the expression on Pierre Rodriguez's face, like her level done stepped up, right? Because like there was a couple times like whenever Kay Hansen would put that clinch on her, and you could see it in her eyes, like, oh, she didn't have time to play in this one. You know, some of her past fights, she could do that. She could kind of egg you on for a brawl, but she saw Kay Hansen was still no joke like that first round, you know, in that second round. But overall, man, like, I think Kay Hansen had a good start, but again, she just let the gas tank go. Like, not like her cardio necessarily, but just like her momentum gas tank. Like, she starts off good, you know, striking's decent. Her speed was, her speed was effective against Pierre Rodriguez the first round, you know, landed some good shots in and out. But after that, you know, after like a few minutes in the round, she chose to wrestle. Like, I don't know why she wanted to do that. Like, to me, it didn't really call for that. Like, Kay Hansen's boxing to me was doing her what she needed to do to get by in the first round, but she wanted to turn it up, take it down. Like, she won the round with the wrestling, but I think it kind of like gassed her out, and you know, it just kind of like took her to it just took her to another plane where she was like, okay, now I'm gonna sit back the rest of the fight. Like, I didn't understand what she was doing there. Like, the striking was working, you know, she had the speed advantage, but then she just started to give out, you know, let her opponent come back. The second round, when she went in for that one takedown, and Pierre Rodriguez got that reversal and just popped up on top, you know, it's the way she was just so quick to maneuver and reverse that, get on top. I was like, okay, here we go. Now you're going to see the ground game of Rodriguez. So she had a decent round there. And that third round was definitely in favor of Pierre Rodriguez, but neither one of them really like stepped on the gas. Like I said, neither one really leveled up. It was just kind of a round where you just had to give it to the person that was just edging it out. You know what I mean? And then, yeah, she got taken down in the third round. I was like, I don't know, man. Like, come on. Like, what are you, what's on your mind right now? Like, what is really on your mind? Like, you really need this win. And I'm talking about Kay Hansen, you know, here, because this was she was already 0-2, coming back down to straw weight. You know, she said this is the weight she needs to be at. She wants to make a statement to get back in there and try to get in the top 15. And she let her opponent come back. And again, like I said, Rodriguez to me really wasn't doing anything spectacular. So from here, man, I just need to see a little bit more from Pierre Rodriguez. I need to see that killer instinct. Need to see her turn it up a little bit, because those fighters like Cheyenne Velismus, Cheyenne Velismus, those type of fighters, those type of strikers, they'll give her problems. You know, if she moves up the ladder here. Even Verna Jandaroba, you know, dangerous on the ground, but I think even her striking would give somebody like Pierre Rodriguez problems. You know what I mean? So just need to see her turn it up a little bit more. Kay Hansen, 0-3 now? She might be looking she might be looking like she needs to go back to Invicta, I think, or LFA or something like that, where she can get some work in and, kind of work on being more disciplined as far as making weight, where she can kind of be a little bit more lenient. And if she can't deal with that type of pressure yet, she can kind of work her way back up to dealing with this type of pressure. Because along the way, I think other things were going on with her. So she just needed to kind of find that path again and rebuild. I mean, she's only 22 years old. I mean, she was the youngest fighter on the card. Kay Hansen was the youngest fighter on the card. So she needs to, go back, do like Liana Joju is doing, and just rebuild, because she started off at like 18 in Invicta FC. And some people were already trying to push her like she was Ronda Rousey at that time, because she, stopped a few people. But that got shut down real quick. You know what I mean? That got shut down real quick. And then they just kind of put her on that trajectory where she was like this dominant fighter. But, fighters like Erin Blanchfield, they were shutting that down. So to me, I think she just got to go back and do what she need to do and just start over like she's somebody, I think, relearning a lot of these things at 22. Her mind is still open to me to where you can kind of take in new things and rebuild the game because, it's different than being 35. 22 and 35. Okay, 35, it's going to be tough for a fighter to change, but 22, you can still grow. You can still grow. And the UFC is not for her, honestly. Now, the more I speak on it now, it's not for her. 22 years old, 0-3, and not showing the skill level of some of these other fighters in the strawweight division. This is not for her. Like, look at her skill compared to the rest of these unranked strawweights in the lower half. Like, the fighters like Amanda Lemos, they're ready to go. You know what I mean? They're ready to get what they need to get. Verna Jandiroba, she's in a place where she can still develop and be a top 10 fighter. Like, Kay Hansen couldn't even beat Jessica Penney right now. That's how I see it. So she's got work to do. Let's talk. So yeah. What do y'all think about that? Let me see first. Brian Williams, what's up? He said Kay needs to go back down to a different promotion, put in the work, get better, and maybe she can get back to the UFC in a few years. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 22 is young, man. 22 is young in this game. Yeah, Marcus. Yeah, they were saying that at the time. Like, I know she was inspired by Ronda Rousey, but maybe you were inspired to get in there. But I mean, as far as the hunger, I mean, that's dominance. That's a different thing, right? Ian Brewer, what's up? He said, I saw Tisha won. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, so that's what I think about that fight, though. Nothing great, spectacular. I mean, the most I've taken away from it is that Kay Hansen doesn't really need to be in the UFC right now. Doesn't need to be in the UFC with 3 losses in a row, having trouble making the weight, not really sure where she needs to be, flyweight or strawweight. Definitely gotta go back down as far as promotion. All right. Yeah, Mark Robinson, I agree. He said Kay probably can't beat Jessica Penney. No, I don't think so. People forget Jessica Penney. She's still a decent striker. She is a black belt in BJJ, and I think her overall skills would just be too settled in on who she is. And Kay Hansen is still kind of second guessing herself in these fights. That's what I meant. So yeah, Kay Hansen still kind of second guesses herself in these fights. She's not committed to what's working for her. She'll just change up and try to do something else. And it's like, why? That was working. But on to this bantamweight fight. Once again, like I said, don't underestimate these fighters. These old fighters, don't underestimate them. These old heads in the game, they still bringing it. Rocky Pennington and Aspen Ladd. Really, 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 I had to really think hard on what type of danger Aspen Ladd was bringing in. It wasn't really until they got in the octagon that I remember that Aspen Ladd is this, she is kind of big, she is kind of big and she does pack power. So it wasn't really till the fight started that I said, okay, that's the one thing that Rocky is probably gonna have to watch out for is the power of Aspen Ladd. If they get the trade and her left hook could land and do some damage or drop Rocky Pennington. But to counter that, I remembered Rocky Pennington, her boxing and her defense are much, much better than Aspen Ladd's. And anything Aspen Ladd throws, Rocky's going to be prepared for. I mean, you saw all those head kicks that Aspen Ladd was throwing. A lot of them started to become telegraphed, but Rocky was just in there blocking everything. You know what I mean? She's blocking those shots, taking a lot of steam off of them. What did she say in the post-fight? That I think she caught a kick or her hand was open and she went to block one of Aspen Ladd's kicks and it kind of bent her fingers all the way back, she said, and it like did some damage to her left hand. I don't know if y'all heard that, but she said she threw a few jabs with it and, it started to hurt. So she just started using the right hand more. But I thought she still used the jab effectively throughout the fight. It was still very effective, Maybe that's one reason why she started throwing it to the body because it was softer, Throwing to the body is a softer target than hitting Aspen Ladd in that head, So she started throwing to the body more. But yeah, when she started, turning up the right hands, I could see something, like in the movement of Rocky Pennington, like something must be off here because she ain't jabbing as much. But yeah, that's crazy. Like she had her ice and, she had her hand in a bucket of ice at the interview, post-fight interview. And yeah, she said like the fingers got bent back when she went to block that Ladd kick. So yeah, if she tried to fold her hand back up, she said she could feel that pain in there. But she did well, man. I mean, she made the adjustment well, and that's something that, again, these veterans, they got, man. They got that second gear. Like, she didn't fold. She didn't, like, act like, oh, man, I'm in pain. I got to stop this fight. She wasn't wincing. She wasn't putting on no show, like, being dramatic. She just fought through it. She fought through it and stayed gritty. So, what do y'all think, though? Aspen Ladd, is she like a Kay Hansen on a higher level here where you could kind of say the same thing, like you're not seeing enough of what Aspen Ladd could offer, or does she not have what she needs to compete with these bantamweights? We talking about the division we all say is dry, it's all boring, right? Where we have a chance for new blood to go in there and steal these opportunities of this shine, but somebody like Aspen Ladd can't even get by Norma Dumont, Rocky Pennington. She can't even get by these fighters anymore, like this level of fighters. So what is it? What is it, man? Like, should she be here as well? Like, that's why I had to kind of compare it to Kay Hansen because it's like the same thing. Like, Aspen was going through the motions in this fight and never made an adjustment to the boxing. Not until the third round. Not until the third round when she finally decides to clinch up. Like, she did the reverse of what Kay Hansen did. Kay Hansen started off strong and then gave out in rounds 2 and 3. Whereas Aspen Ladd, she gave up rounds 1 and 2, then came on and turned up in round 3, right? And that's the most she's done. And, Rocky on her back was still game. You know what I mean? Like when she got her down. So I was like, okay, I'm going to give her this round, but it's like a little too late because Rocky's not going to just fold under that pressure of Aspen Ladd. She still got a better ground game and the experience. Yeah, Marcus said, yeah. That's what I was saying. Kind of like the bigger version. Running Reed said her team didn't seem very honest with her either. That's the problem. Like, some of these fighters, their teams don't really be, letting them know what's up. They don't really tell them when it's time to pull the trigger. Like, it's time to go. It's go time. Like, you need to step up your game. Somebody's corner was yelling at him. I can't remember who it was. Was it Gilbert Burns' corner? Or was it Hosmat? Yeah, I think Hosmat's corner, his corner was yelling at him, man. Was he? Was it Hosmat? Hosmat's corner was, I think screaming on him. Yeah, so you know, them not telling Aspen Ladd the truth and just saying, hey, you need to gun for it. Yeah, like I think that's the kind of miscommunication in there that can kind of mess you up in a fight. They need to know. Robot Chicken said Ladd was short notice in the normal fight. I'll give her a pass on that one. Not really. I mean, maybe like 20%, 20% of a pass, maybe 15%. I mean, you see all these other fighters take fights on short notice and they go in there and take full advantage and win. So I'm not giving her like a full pass on that. Like, if you got the skills, you got the skills. I mean, if you answer the call, that means you're ready to go, right? Or you something near ready to go. Like when they call you on a short notice, like when they call Caitlin Chikagan to take on Cynthia Calvillo after losing to Andrade, hey, that's how you do it. You know, that's how you do it. You saying you 100% or you close to 100%, but that still says something about her skills in that fight. I know y'all gonna talk about the weight thing, but no. This level of bantamweight still is too much. It's still too much. Because you know, if they got her up, they got her this high up the ranking. You know, that's what we saying. Her skills they should be legit, right? So she had opportunities to shut Rocky's boxing down, but it wasn't until the third round that she did what she was supposed to do. Yeah, Brian Williams. Yeah, she had a full camp, missed weight 2 weeks prior to Norma Dumont because she was training for Macy Chiasson, so she had a full camp. She had a full camp prior to that, so she should have been ready, right? Mark said, I think Ladd's high ranking somehow went to her head. I think before this fight, she might have been the most overrated, highly ranked fighter in the UFC. I've said that. Every time I pull up them rankings, you know, I say Irene Aldana number 5, so-and-so number 3, and then, you know, so-and-so number 4. And then I say Aspen Ladd's number 3, right under Holly Holm and Amanda Nunes. I was like, what did she do to get here, you know? I was like, what did she do to get to number 3? I was trying to think to myself. I was like, you beat Yana Kunitskaya, but you got knocked out by GDR, and then you was gone for like a year. Like, how did she get to be number 3? You know, I was trying to figure that out. But make sure y'all hit that like button too, because I'm doing an early show here since I won't be on tonight. Brian Williams says, okay, I read that. Mojo, what's going on? He said Ladd may have gone up about as far as she can in the UFC. I agree. Yeah, I agree. That's kind of what I'm getting at. That you see is that Aspen Ladd has kind of gotten as high as she could have with the help of the rankings, with the help of the UFC pushing her to number 3. But the opponents that she's beaten, like Sarge, Yana Kunitskaya, who else did she beat in the UFC? Lena Landsberg, Tanya Evinger. That's kind of like the highest level she's defeated, right? That's kind of like the highest level she can beat as of right now. Because you can see like these fighters with complete tools like Rocky, even somebody like Sarah McMahon will beat her. She's just, I think, missing certain things as far as what she's doing in training. Brian Williams said Aspen was always been overrated. Ladd is the Macy Barber 135. Yeah. I mean, I can't argue with that. I mean, I think she has a few more tools than Macy Barber, but it's kind of the same deal. Yeah, it's kind of the same deal. You know, she'll beat those fighters on the lower level. You know how Macy Barber was beating girls like JJ Aldridge, Jillian Robertson, just those lower level fighters, but she couldn't beat like Roxanne, Alexa Grasso. It's kind of the same deal. So for Rocky though, man, like I said, the way she's moving, I like it. You know, it's like she's not going anywhere. She's just testing these fighters, and if they're not passing, that means they're not they're not good to go. I mean, like flyweight, we got a lot of fighters there that are dominating. Like, Manon, she took full advantage and beat Jennifer Maya. She said, I got the tools to do this. I'm gonna do it. But some of these fighters up here at bantamweight, they still lacking something. Hold on. Hold on one second. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's why I can't give her a pass. I'm sorry, Robot Chicken, because she is a bit overrated. Overranked and overrated. That's why when you push fighters that high, like Aspen Ladd and Macy Barber, they're gonna miss something along the way. That's why when they step their game up, they'll lose, and they'll continue to lose until they can go back and figure it out. Figure out what it was that what they're lacking. Push them too high, and you see what happens, man. So for Rocky, though, she's talking about fighting Sarah McMahon for a title eliminator. That's not a bad fight. They've done what they needed to do as far as stay sharp on their level. So, I did a video talking about them other week too, right? About not counting them out. So we'll make it happen. Rocky versus Sarah McMahon. That's not a bad fight. That's not a bad fight. She said for a title eliminator too. So, title eliminator, I'm not sure. But then again, why not? I mean, who else is there, right? Holly's already got her shot. GDR is, well, Sarah McMahon called out GDR. Now Rocky's calling out Sarah McMahon. So, I mean, hey, whatever happens there, man. I like the Sarah versus Rocky fight because at least they're both ranked and they're both active. I don't know what the deal is with Irene Aldana right now. But it's slim pickings there, so why not take that fight? I'll take it. Brian said, I think Ladd potential and skills are overrated, but at the time she had earned her ranking. Did she? Who did? Well, yeah. Who did she beat at the time to push her to number 3? Landsberg, Evinger, Yana Kunitskaya. I mean, yeah, it might have been a situation like Mackenzie Dern, right, where beat the right people at the right time and you'll get that ranking. But that's a dangerous thing, right? Because then it'll put you in a position where your skills aren't ready for. Yeah, she beat Yana Kunitskaya at the time, so that might have been a good thing. I mean that might have been the thing that did it. So it was kind of a gift and a curse with the way she was placed in there. So yeah, I like that fight, Sarah versus Rocky. Just go ahead and make it happen. That fight's never happened before. That's all we pretty much got in the bantamweight division as of right now, right? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I can't get mad at the fighters like that whenever they take full advantage, because that's what Tisha could have did when if she would have defeated Dern, you know, and shut her out. She would have been able to possibly steal a title shot before Joanna and Andrade can. While they're not around, she could have got in there. It all depends on who's around, but yeah, if that was the situation, Ladd got that ranking by defeating certain fighters and just kind of maneuvering around the Aldanias and so on at the time. Yeah, I could see how she got that ranking. But man, those skills weren't there. That's the sad part. Like whenever your rankings get you there, but your skills ain't ready. Ernest said Ladd's ceiling is made worse because she shacked up with a coach, which is a big no. yeah, I mean, you got to have that relationship boundary, you know what I mean? Like, or the person training you has to know how to balance that, the personal versus the business, right? There's got to be some type of balance there. Okay, yeah. Robot Chicken said I think Dern is better. I think Dern can be better. I think Dern is a little bit better in some cases, yeah. I think she is. Yeah. So yeah, that's where I'm at with Lad. I think, it's a similar situation like Kay Hansen, pushed fast, but the skills are still in development. And that kind of puts the fighter in a position where they start to second guess themselves in there. Rocky, yeah, I'll take Rocky versus Sarah this summer. Why not? But let's talk about this main fight here, y'all. Let's talk about Mackenzie Dern versus Tisha Torres. All right, so here's where I'm at with this fight. I watched it twice. I watched it with y'all in the live stream, then I watched it one more time before I laid down. And this is a situation, to me, this is one of those situations where it's like this, Tisha did everything, in my opinion, to win the fight, to beat her opponent standing across from her. Okay. That's how I see it. She did enough to win. That's how I see it. If you ask me, I'm going to constantly argue that Dern lost that fight. But Tisha Torres is battling not only Mackenzie Dern, she's also battling three judges. She's battling those three judges sitting ringside. And when you're battling them, you're dealing with a whole different animal sometimes. Like you're dealing with people that don't really know how to judge a significant strike, don't know how to judge effective pressure, really only look for, sometimes they only look for, or they listen for the roar of the crowd. They kind of base what a fighter's doing off of people cheering. So it could be a BS flurry and they'd be like, oh, they hear the crowd cheer and then they're like, oh, wow, yeah, I'm going to give the round to that person. Or they could just look at one round and spread it out across the fight, right? That's how the judges look at it. So sometimes. So it was one of those situations where, to me, being in the corner of Tisha Torres, like I got to look at it in that perspective as well. Like I have to tell her that, look, we're dealing with a fighter in Mackenzie Dern that they're trying to hype up. So we need to go in there and dominate. Like we really need to train to dominate. Like we don't need to train to go in there and get knocked out or get submitted or get taken down, but we need to develop our style to be able to be in and out and land the hardest punches that we can land on Mackenzie Dern. Like we need to train to stop Mackenzie Dern, right? We have to go back and look at what Marina Rodriguez did and how she won just about every single round except the second round. So Tisha, in my eyes, of course, again, like I said, technically did enough to win the fight, but there had to be times where she had to put the pedal to the metal because of those judges. They don't know how to me, they really don't know how to score these fights when a fighter's backing up. Like, to me, a fighter backing up doesn't necessarily mean that they're trying to avoid the fight. They're just trying to create distance and land good shots and set up counters. And to me, I think it's impressive if a fighter can fight off the back foot, right? So in this case, there had to be a good mixture of both. Like I said, you got to train not just for your opponent, but you got to train how these judges think. So you can't spin round after round off the back foot. I agree with that. You can't spin round after round off the back foot because we're going by what these judges are going to take away from you, right? Again, me personally, you can fight off the back foot all you want. As long as you're touching that person, you're scoring and you're landing significant strikes, you can do that all day for me. That's the type of judge I would be. I'm scoring that. But these judges, you have to say, I have to find a balance. I have to pick my moments to fight off the back foot. Then I have to come forward and walk this girl down and fight in the pocket just a little bit, just enough. But when I do it, I got to make for darn sure that these shots count. I got to make sure that every shot I land does damage when I do get in the pocket to really break Mackenzie Dern down. You know, and I think that's where Marina, she was able to succeed in her fight, right? She still had a good balance of offense and still would turn Mackenzie Dern and shut down her offense. She didn't let her get off too many long shots and, you know, land anything. Like, that's why I said, like, the minute you land and you're a hyped up fighter, the judges are going to score that round for you. It could be 2 big shots and that's it. They're going to give you the round. They're going to ignore everything you did. And that's kind of what they did, in my opinion, with a lot of what Tisha Torres was doing, right? It's the same thing I said about Angela Hill before. Like, you have to learn how to dominate with what you're working with. Like, if you're not knocking people out, then you really got to find that balance where the judges can't give that person a round, because boring or not, your style is always winning and your style is always chaotic and it's always frustrating that person. Let's see. Mark Robinson said it's like the judges in the Tisha fight were watching the fight with bad image resolution or something. He said if your vision is blurry to the point where you're only seeing shapes, you think the person mostly backing up is losing the fight. If you got 20/20, though, you can see who's really winning. Thank you. Like me, like I said, all day long, you can back up. Like if Floyd Mayweather, he's backing up all day and he's piecing you up. Doesn't even have, like I said, not just boxing, but like even in the sport of MMA, if somebody like Valentina chose to back up all day, but she's landing good shots and just piecing you up off the back foot and you're pushing forward, I'm going to give it to the person on the back foot. Right? You got to give it to that person that's landing more shots. So with that, Tisha has to All right. Can y'all hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Had to fix something here. Had to restart something. All right. Okay, so yeah, let me know if you can hear me now. System chose to update right when I was in this conversation. Right. All right. So I'm back. Just before I get to talking, let me know y'all can hear me because the system chose to start updating right in the middle of my stream here. So let me know if y'all can hear me. Sorry about that. That was crazy. I don't know why I did that. Okay. Missing your comments. What are y'all saying here? Okay, where was I? Okay, sound is good. Appreciate it. Okay, thanks, Mark. All right, so where I left off. Okay, so I was saying that Tisha Torres, um, I think you had brought it up too, Brian, but that's what I had said before about that's what I said before about Angela Hill and Caitlin Chikagan. I did a whole video on this before, like point fighting. Like, if you ain't a knockout artist, you got to turn up. You got to turn up the heat. You know what I mean? You've got to really turn up the heat on your style, and you have to learn how to, like Caitlin Chikagan does. You have to go in there and dominate in your own way. You know, whether the crowd is booing or not, You know, whether they like your style or not, you got to go in there and make it yours. You got to make the fight yours. And like I said, that's what I would have said. Like in the corner of Tisha Torres, you know, I would have said, look, we're 1-1 right now. You know, Dern definitely got the second round, so you got to do something big in the third round. All right. Again, in my eyes, if you ask me, you asking me personally, she did enough to win the third round. She did enough, meaning that she just went through the motions and, you know, textbook point fighting, boom, 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 you know, enough to win the round. But we're talking about the judges. You know, the judges, again, they don't go by technique and technical skill all the time. They're trying to go by, you know, like I said, just some BS all the time, by entertainment and stuff like that. They're not just looking at the martial arts. So they're going to say, I'm looking at this person wild swinging, coming forward. The minute they land one shot and the crowd goes wild, okay, I'm giving them the fight. That's what they kind of look at. So for Tisha, you really have to make every single round count, like every minute, every single round count. It's got to be bomb after bomb against a hyped up fighter. You know, you really got to hurt a hyped up fighter. How did Roxanne Modafferi handle Macy Barber? Same situation. You know what I mean? Like, if Roxanne didn't put that type of aggression on Macy Barber, she would have lost the decision. They would have found some way to give it to her. Like, and that's what it comes down to. A lot of these fights, when you're dealing with a heavy favorite like Mackenzie Dern, give them enough leeway, they're going to try to find a way to give it to that person. That's why you just can't do that, man. You got to be dominant. You got to be dominant in every fashion, every which way you can be in a fight when you're dealing with these type of fighters. Like, Tisha Torres, to me, she had the discipline and the defense and the skills that she said, but, you know, the dominant factor wasn't there. You know, the dominant factor just was not there for her. And to be a champion, you need that. You know, you need that. Marina Rodriguez, she was able to beat Mackenzie Dern because, you know, she stayed on her game and she stayed committed to the better strikes, and she made everything count outside of the second round. Right? So that's what it is, man. Like, Mackenzie Dern, I think, well, first of all, Tisha Torres, I think she did enough to win the fight. Looking at the first round, the second round, the third round, she did have a big scare in the second round, but I give her a lot of credit in that second round. Like, yeah, yeah, you can't give a person round off of defense. Yeah, we know that, but I was still impressed with the way Tisha Torres was able to defend. You know, she was defending well. Like, under pressure, she still got it. Like, so many submission attempts in there from Mackenzie Dern in like dominant positions, and, you know, Tisha Torres' wrestling is what really saved her. That's why I said, like, this girl is strong. You know, she didn't win the round, no, but like, she still hung in there. It showed you like how important that wrestling is in this game. You know, so she's opening my eyes to that. I was like, yo, like, Tisha's in. If that was any other fighter, I think they would have got submitted. Any other fighter would have got submitted in there, in my opinion. But I think, you know, Tisha just showed how strong she is and how, you know, how defensively sound she is even on the ground in that position. Marcus said, what if the judges mistaken Mackenzie Dern's submission as ground control? They did. I think they did. And that's kind of what the judges, to me, were looking at. That's why I was like, okay, like, we know we know she's getting this round, because the judges automatically going to say, okay, she's got this. You know, holding an arm in a position, we might as well say the judges are going to give her that round. Like, even if you're defending the submission, like, Mackenzie really wasn't dominating in that one position where she had the arm trapped. When she had that arm trapped on Tisha Torres and Tisha Torres was on top, you know the judges want to give that round to her. I mean, she had her locked in that position. It was kind of a neutral position, in my opinion, because Tisha Torres was defending it, and it wasn't really an arm bar. But at the same time, Mackenzie Dern had her trapped. Like, if she made a mistake, then, you know, the arm bar could come into play. But it was kind of a neutral position at point where, you know, I could have said maybe the ref could have seen it and said, okay, he could have stood him up, maybe not, but it wasn't really like complete ground control. Yeah, so, but in my eyes, you know, the judge, they definitely gonna run with that. They definitely gonna run with that. You said with Dern's size advantage and the fact that she wanted to grapple with Tisha backing up while countering effectively, actually a decent strategy. Too bad she didn't get credit for it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, if your grappling is not on par and you have to be the counter striker here and your counter striking is working, that means you should, you know, that should be scored for something. You know, that should be scored for something, in my opinion. Like, because you're not. That's what they don't understand. Like, if you're not packing that type of power, like, why are you going to come forward though? Like, why are you going to come forward? Like, if you're being effective backing up, why is that not scored? And you're doing plenty of it, and you're making it work. Oh wow, there we go. Oh, dang. Sorry about that. Had an eyelash in my eye. It stings, man. So, looking at Tisha, I think, again, she did enough to win, but there has to be that killer instinct in her body. You know, there has to be a killer instinct bone in her body where if she wants to move forward, same thing like I say, like with those fighters like Alexa Grasso, you got to turn it up because the judges aren't always going to be in your favor, right? They aren't somewhere in her favor. Hang on one sec, y'all. Woo, that hurt. Okay, eyelash stings, man. Okay, all right. Robot Chicken said Dern is overrated. I still think E-Boss will take her to school. Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh, BJ, what's going on? He said Dern was in it. Dern was never in any danger where Tisha was. She was never advancing. That's not enough to win a fight. In danger in the second round, and that's it. Robot Chicken said this fight could have been a draw. Nah, I don't see it as a draw. Brian said, I agree. Especially these point fighters have got to stop being surprised by how these judges are scoring, especially the third round. Yeah, I mean, when you're basing off of judges, yeah. You're just hoping one day one of these judges has some actual common sense on what skills are, right? But anyways, all right, let's look at Dern though. People can celebrate, you know, they can celebrate Dern got a win, but is it enough to say Dern is ready for a title shot or a number one contender fight? That's the thing. That's the problem. All right. On paper, Dern won. All right, I'll accept that, but will y'all accept the fact that she's still not ready for a number one contender? Is that enough? Is this win enough to say, ooh, she made a big statement and that she's going to beat Zhang Wei Li or she'll beat the winner of Zhang Wei Li and Joanna? All right. So we can reach and say, okay, she did some good things in this fight. Almost submitted Tisha Torres, but didn't submit her. She won the third round. She landed a few good hard right hands, won the round, got her a split decision win. So we're moving on. Okay. Tisha didn't do enough to win this fight. Okay. So we're going to say that. But was this a statement maker for Dern? That's the question. Is it really making us excited now to see this fighter advance? So I kind of agree earlier with who said, who was that said earlier that some of these, was that Marcus that said some of these close fights need to be ran back? You know, yeah. So it's kind of almost like you're in that position where you really have to prove yourself to get to that next level, man. Because, yeah, okay, you got this win on paper, But what's going to happen the next time? Like, you step your game up for real. Is that going to be enough to win? Because the next person you fight in this division, they're not going to be a point fighter. They're not going to be a fighter without a killer instinct. When you talk about Weili, when you talk about Joanna, when you talk about your champ now, Rose, when you talk about Carla Esparza, yeah, I said Carla Esparza because I still think Carla Esparza could beat Mackenzie Dern. What you got? Huh? What's going to happen? So my point is, giving her the win this way was not a good idea. I think if they would have gave Mackenzie Dern the L, which this is another video because I got to talk about other fighters like that. Like, judges got to be careful. Like, when you give somebody a gift like this, it's not really helping them. It's not really helping them because it's not going to make them a better fighter like that. It's not going to let them know what they need to improve. Yeah, Mackenzie Dern made some nice adjustments from the last time out, but was it really enough to beat Tisha? No. Will she go in there and dust somebody like Rose, even if Rose loses the belt to Carla? No, I don't think so. So I think when the judges do this, they try to give somebody a gift decision like this. It's not really helping them. It's not going to help them be better as a fighter. Yeah, it'll help them climb the rankings, but it's not going to help them be a better fighter. It's not going to help them grow or go back to the drawing board and say, okay, this is what we really, really, really need to work on. It's going to start making them say, oh, well, this time around, I can just do this again and it'll work. Right? Yeah, Runner Rennie says she's not ready for Lamos, Andrade, Carla, Weili, or Joanna. All of them fighters. All of them. Win or lose. I mean, the winner or the loser of Joanna versus Weili. I mean, that's still going to be a big handful for her. MJ says she's a Dern fan, but she thought she lost. I'm just saying. Mojo said Dern said during the pre-fight that even with the win, she still wanted a couple more fights before it gained her belt. Yeah, she's going to need them. That's good because she's going to need them. Mark said I was going to say I liked Dern's aggressiveness, but it's easy to be aggressive against a smaller fighter. She wouldn't fight Joanna like that. No way. Nah, she wouldn't. Not at all. Robot Chicken said that's why I said it should have been a draw so they could run it back. Yeah. Even split, I would have said, yeah. Even if it's a close decision, I'd still say run it back. But yeah, if it's a draw, it'll kind of force them to run it back. Yeah. Anyways, though, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Like that would be a good idea if they kind of did that. It would kind of put that person that do or die, like they would do. You know how they do with the tough fight when it ties up and they do that do or die round. Like if you win 2 rounds, it's good, but if you split the rounds, it's like you go into that do or die mode. So I mean, that would kind of be the same thing, if you made the fight a draw, make them fight again, and then winner can finally move on. Robot Chicken said Hamzat still beats Kobe. BJ said ain't gonna help Hamzat. He lost. Really? Y'all really thought Hamzat lost? Y'all were hyping him up and going after him, and now y'all think he lost? And you know what's crazy is I was picking Burns, and I think Hamzat did it. I think he did enough to take it. I mean, Burns did good now. Don't get me wrong now. Like, if Burns would have turned up his gas, but he got hit with some big shots in the 3rd round, man, he probably would have got it. He probably would have got it. But that fight, to me, I give Hamzat his win, but he still needs a lot of work. That's why I said all y'all hyping him up, man. Wait till y'all get to his certain level. Y'all gonna see. Same like how y'all saw with Macy Barber. When you get to a certain level, you're gonna see the change in skills. I don't hear too much from them people gassing up Hamzat now. I hear a lot of people now saying, "Oh, he lost." But I actually think he did enough to win. He didn't look great, but he did enough to win. But Hamzat, that wasn't a robbery though. I mean, because I had people saying that was a robbery, but they didn't think Tisha was robbed. But I'm like, come on now. And I'm trying to be fair here. I'm trying to be fair, calling it down the middle. Like, I picked Tisha, yeah, but I still think she did enough to win. Like, I picked Burns, but I think Burns lost. Burns just lost. I mean, he took a lot of big shots in there, and you could just see it. Like, now, if you want to talk about this fight where the judges are looking at effective aggression, Hamzat was still putting on a very, very good fight where he was landing bombs. Dern wasn't landing bombs like him, right? Dern wasn't taking the fight to Torres. Dern could still land and move and get off significant blows. Burns, he would land a few good hits here and there and snap, them punches on Hamzat's head, but Hamzat would come back. Every time Hamzat walked Burns down, he would land big shots, big, clean shots. Dern wasn't showing this type of offense, so there was really no way, in my opinion, I could give her the third round. No, like this fight, Hamzat, he still did enough in that third round. Thought he about had Burns out. Robert Henry, what's going on, man? Rennie said Burns was a good test, but no, he didn't win. No, he didn't win. I think Kobe beat Hamzat though, man. I don't like Kobe, but I think Kobe would beat him. He didn't bring nothing too crazy to the table. He didn't bring nothing too crazy to the table. All honesty though, Burns actually threw some nice punches. Like Hamzat, his straight punches are good, but it's really just power on him that makes him so effective. But I think like the one who threw with a lot of good technique in here, because he was dealing with the bigger fighter, Burns, he threw some nice shots here, nice straight jabs, nice overhand rights. Man, like it was a good fight though, man. All around good fight. Like I don't know, was this better? It's better than Gaethje and Chandler. I think so, man. I think Burns was just like showing like some heart in there, showing what he really had. Brian Williams said Burns made the mistake of grappling when Hamzat was clearly tired and taking damage on the feet. He just tired himself out with no gain. Yeah, he did tire himself out, man. Like he had a lot of good moments in there to finish him, but he just didn't, man. Lafayette, what's going on? He said, close fight. I had Burns winning. I don't know. No, I still think Hamzat won. I think, Burns had his heart in it for sure. I just gave Hamzat rounds one. Yeah, I gave him 1 and 3. I gave Burns round 2 when he really did spark. He did spark Hamzat with some good shots. He did hit him with some good shots. Yeah, Rob Henry said, he said, like I said last night, man. Yeah. Like I said, he said, like I said last night, I'm not gonna call it a robbery. I'm not gonna call it a robbery. I'm gonna just say Mackenzie Dern didn't win. Like I said, if you ask me, I'm gonna just say, nah, Dern didn't win that fight. That's the best way I can put it now without even starting. Lafayette said Torres bad decision. Yeah, it was a bad decision, man. Robbery, I ain't gonna use the word. I'm gonna just say bad decision. Not Robot Chicken. Robert said Hamzat has a hell of a chin on him, but no head movement at all. That won't work against Father Usman. No, But yeah. So this fight, Burns and Hamzat, that was a good one. I enjoyed the fight. Potential fight of the year. I think Hamzat. I think he won the fight. Hamzat won the fight. Did he look like somebody that could beat Usman or Covington? No, not in my opinion. He didn't bring what everybody in here was hyping him up to be. He didn't bring what he was hyping him up to be. You know, he didn't bring any of that. Like, he brought what he brought from his lower ranks, and what everything he was doing, everything he did last night would beat a lot of the lower ranked guys, unranked guys for sure. But that's not going to work on guys like Usman, in my opinion, and Colby Covington. What he did wasn't going to work on them. Peter Yan and Aljamain Sterling, Peter Yan. Sterling won that fight. 3-2. Yan didn't do anything really to win the first round, in my opinion. You know, Yan did a lot of stalking. Yeah, he did a lot of cutting octagon off. Landed a few kicks, but, you know, the champ landed a few of his own. Landed a few more significant strikes. So the champ keeps the first round, in my opinion. Second round, third round, hands down. Those were Sterling's rounds. Round 4 and 5, those were Peter Yan's rounds. I think pretty basic, open and shut case. No robbery there. Sterling defends his belt. He keeps it. He legit wins, you know. Yan might not like it, but he didn't do enough in those first 3 rounds. He did a lot of chasing and stalking, but he didn't let his hands go. Granted, Sterling really didn't give him a target to hit, but that should have been on him to get the fight down to the ground if he wanted to, you know, show his well-roundedness. So I gave the fight to Sterling, man. 1 through 3. He got a little gas. 4 and 5, that's where Yan came on to. He stopped a lot of the takedowns, you know, because Sterling started becoming more predictable. Yan would do nicely and defend, grab the back of Sterling, you know, to kind of shut those attempts down and just kind of bide time. Landed more shots. So yeah, Sterling kept his belt. Yeah, man. I got to go back and look at that fight, Lafayette. Fondor messed him up, man. I think Sean Porter said that Lubin probably needs, Lubin's probably going to need some, like, facial reconstructive surgery, maybe, you know, with the way he looked. Yeah, Fondor, man, that guy ain't no joke, man. Like, 6'5" at 154. The main event. Oh man, the main event. I mean, the main event was just a massacre, right? Ain't nothing to really talk about there. I mean, that was just a massacre. Volk just turned the Korean Zombie into hamburger. Just turned the man into some hamburger, man. I was like, wow, this dude just getting pieced up here. He's just getting outgunned, outclassed. Like I said, if you ever seen Floyd Mayweather versus Arturo Gatti, that's what the main event was. Just somebody way out of their league against a faster, sharper fighter. You know, Volkanovski just too quick, too sharp, too powerful, too well-rounded in every department. You know, he wanted to wrestle a little bit. He did. His striking, you know, just he wanted to work on his jab a little bit. He did, you know, taking the pressure off some of the shots. But, you know, finally in that 4th round, he started really sitting down on his punches, you know, the big 1-2s. Ref had to step in and just say that's enough. It was Herb Dean, right? He just stepped in and said that was enough, man. Like, I mean, the doctor, he had to look at him at the third round, but that fourth round, they said that's enough, man. Like, he was just getting pieced up. That's probably, like I said, that's worse than getting knocked out sometimes, because you're just taking a consistent beating to the brain, not just one shot to knock you out in the fight. You just in there getting beat up one shot after another with just enough to rattle your brain. So, yeah, I was right on that pick, man. I was just like, this is just going to be a piece up here. And you just saw the speed difference, man. Speed, the skill level difference, all of that. All of that. Enough here to say it was a good fight, knockdowns. Want to see Boots fight him next? Ooh, Boots is at 147. I don't want to see that yet. I want to see Boots dominate 147. I'd actually like to see Jaime Munguia versus Fundora Lafayette. That would be a good fight. Jaime Munguia and Jaime Munguia and Fundora would be a good fight. That 6'5" kid, he's a good inside fighter, man. Tall and skinny, but dang, man, he can fight. Yeah, when it comes down to it, I mean, shout out to the Korean Zombie. He got his title shot. Did I really think he stood a chance? No, not really. I mean, like I said, on that UFC fight night level, he definitely puts on good, entertaining fights. He's definitely a handful for, your average fighter, your fighter that needs a test. But other than that, he's not really like this. He wasn't like coming into this fight like this big test. So I said, oh, at least he got his shot. At least he can go out and say, I got my shot if he wants to retire now. But, Volk, man, he was just too on it. So what, Max Holloway supposed to be next? This the third fight they're going to fight, right? And they're actually, 0-2? One of those fights, yeah, Max looked like he won. Like, I think it was the first fight. But this fight kind of reminded me of that Max Holloway and who was that one fight Max was like he was just beating the mess out of, like, was it a fight or two ago? Who was that he was whooping up on? And it was like the same type of beating, man. Like, except his was worse. I think Max Holloway was really beating that kid up worse. I can't remember his name. Not Ortega. It was a guy. It was one of the guys after Ortega. Can't remember. White. He had brown hair. Not Ortega. That was a good one too. That was a good beating too. But no, this was another guy that didn't need to be in there. Yeah, Qatar. That's who, Calvin Qatar. That's who it is. Yeah, Calvin Qatar. That's the one. This was similar to that. But I mean, in that fight, Max Holloway wasn't even like taking his foot off the gas. He was just like landing punches and bunches and like showboating and everything. This fight, he was kind of taking his foot off the gas and picking his shots. Volk was just having a little bit of fun in there. But when he stepped on the gas in the fourth, the referee had to actually say, nah, that's enough. Yeah. That Qatar was probably worse. That's what I was thinking, man. Now that I'm running it back in my head, it had to be worse because I remember Max Holloway's output being much, much more. Because I actually think in this fight, Volk was actually kind of taking his time and like being a little bit nicer, but it's still a beatdown. Ulysses says JJ and Whaley is going to be a 5-round fight. Dana White said it. Okay. Yeah, Marcus, he got that knuckle sandwich combo for sure that night, man. He got ripped apart. Yeah, 5 rounds. That's okay. That's good. But yeah, that's the main card, man. Like I said, I enjoyed it. I thought the fights were good. Sitting there calling it last night. It was fun. Um, let's see, UFC 274 is Rose and Carla. I might try to call that card as well. Yeah, I probably do. I probably will call that one next month for sure. What's Joanna gonna do? Lay and pray like Rose? Yeah, right. Yeah, she ain't gonna lay and pray. What's next, y'all? But let's backtrack. Let's backtrack and talk about this one more time. Well, I kind of want to wrap it up with this Dern talk. Like, who do y'all think in the comment section? Like, Dern beat Torres. Who should she fight next? Should she fight a couple more fights, or should she try to get a number one contender fight? Should Dern fight? Should Dern fight the winner of Andrade Lemos next? Shoot, man. Like if Angela Hill avoids the ground, man, Angela Hill might be able to. She probably could have beat Dern though, but in a robbery type of way where she wins, but they don't give it to her. Let's see. Who does she fight next now? Like, if she wants a couple more fights, like you said, Mojo, like who else is there now? Because there's no easy fights now. Let's be real. Tisha, which she lost, could be that could be considered the easiest fight out there for her. Marcus said winner between Andrade and Lemos or Jan Jana. Yeah, Jan Jana is free right now too, so that's not a bad fight. BJ said you want to let her be next. Oh, Joanna would rip her apart. Yeah. Joanna Dern is still a fight I would like to see. Joanna Dern is still a good fight now. Well, you know what I mean. It's a good. It might turn into Max Holloway Qatar if Joanna keeps it standing for 5 rounds, 3 or 4 rounds. But Andrade Lemos, I think that's legit. Ulysses said for her health, not Andrade Lemos. Oh no. She's got to be one of them because Lemos is number 10. Andrade is not ranked, so she's fighting down. It's got to be one of them. I mean, like, okay, you want to they want to give her a decision. They want to give her a decision over Tisha Torres. Everybody thinks she's that good. Yeah, let it be Lemos or Andrade. Let it be the loser of that. I don't care. Let it be the loser of that. Yeah, Robot Chicken said Yana be in trouble on the ground. Yeah, she will. She will. She'll be in trouble on the ground. Mark Robinson said a 5 round repeat of the fight of the year. I think Joanna doesn't take that unless she gets the bigger piece of the pie she's been asking for. Well, they already agreed on it. Who knows? Maybe behind the scene they are. Maybe she is getting a little bit more money, but hopefully, since they agreed on it, it's happening. If it's the third fight down or the fourth fight down, will it be a 5 round fight? Because my understanding, the main event is Glover Teixeira, and I can't remember who the other guy is. Who I can't remember who he's fighting. And the co-main event is Valentina and Taylor Santos. Then the third fight, as of right now, is Joanna and Wei Lee too. But is there anybody else they thrown in the mix? Because that's what it's looking like right now. Co-main event is Valentina and Taylor. So you already got 2 5-round fights. So are they going to put on another 5-round fight? Yeah, BJ. Yeah, they both lost to Marina. Again, that says how that speaks highly of Marina's skill level. I mean, she beat both of them decisively. Mojo said, "Yeah, she's in the ring of fire now. Yeah, she in that ring of fire. So we not playing now. Ain't no more gifts out here. Ain't no more gift decisions out here. We in the fire now." TJ said, "Welcome, gang, to the 4-hour show." Yeah, hit the like button, but this ain't no 4-hour show. I ain't gonna be on at 7, so I said I'm gonna come on earlier and we can talk, get it out the way. Yeah, this ain't no 4-hour. This ain't gonna be no 4-hour edition. Yeah, I agree with this. Brian said Dern showed that she's not good at getting the fight to the ground. She's not, man. Like, really, she's not. Like, that takedown that she got in the second round, she struggled to get. Like, did y'all notice? She struggled to get that. Roger, what's going on? She struggled to get that takedown. That single leg she had a hold of, Tisha Torres was bouncing on that leg for a good 30 seconds almost. Like, she was bouncing to the other side of the cage. Dern still holding on. She bounces close to the center by the black lines. And then finally, Dern finally gets that trip. So she struggled to get that takedown in the second round. Lafayette says Suarez coming back in July. Is she now? Don't play now. Don't play with my feelings now. Okay, Robot Chicken said, okay, here he is. Well, here he is. Wow, I'm picking Glover. Okay, he's fighting. Okay. Hiri Prochazka. Okay, that's the main event. Robot Chicken said Dern had to backpack Torres. Yeah, when she pulled guard in that second round, I was like, yeah, here we go. It's eventually gonna happen. And with that standing Kimura, she tried to get that. Torres did well defending that. You can see Torres like on the ground breathing. She was working on that breathing because she was like, she gonna be on this. She gonna be on the ground here for the rest of the round. So she kept working. Okay, Lafayette said it's on an interview. Helen, what's her name? Send me a link. I'll check it out. Mojo said she did say July. TJ said what year? He said what year? Oh, Helen Yee Sports. Oh, okay. I'm gonna check it out. Robot Chicken says Suarez said she was coming back 3 years ago. Man, you wrong, man. That was 3 years ago whenever she got put out for a while. Yeah, Tisha is strong. Tisha is strong, man. So BJ said Jan Zana should be next. They're on the right turnaround time. So I mean, I'll take that fight. I know if she wins that fight, they definitely gonna give her a lineup in the title shot next. But I'm gonna put that fire on her now, man. Like, I want to see her in there with somebody that's gonna give her another tough fight. Lamos Andrade winner. So strawweight division is still on its game. It's still popping. The judges, they just know how to mess it up for you. I don't know, man. But when I look at this skill level, though, it's like, yeah, fighters like Hansen and Pierre Rodriguez, they gotta turn it up, or they gotta go hard or go home. You got to go hard or go home. Like in this situation, like when you look at these fighters on this level, like even though I think Dern lost the fight, you look at how dangerous he is. Like these fighters like Hansen, they can't be in there playing. Like they can't just go through the motions. Like they got to do something big, man, to compare to these fighters. Like I said, Pierre Rodriguez, she looked okay, but it wasn't like I was blown away. But you really see like the skill gap right there. Like what these fighters are doing, the Lemos and the Andrades, this lower level, they got to step their game up, man. Cedric C, he said, let's go though. He said, Dern sleep. You pick, who picked? Did you pick Cedric C? Did you pick Mackenzie Dern to win that fight? Or were you going for Torres? It wasn't bad. It wasn't spectacular. I mean, it wasn't a groundbreaking fight for her. Like, especially when you think of the level of fighter that she's fighting. Man, Dern, you see how like when Torres turns too, like Torres would turn, how she would just kind of baffle. She would just kind of baffle Mackenzie Dern on the feet, like when she would turn her, or she would just like push her. Or she would turn those angles. You could tell Dern is still working on those feet. Like she likes to punch, but the footwork is still a problem for her. Like way Torres would just kind of turn, and she would just like have to stop, turn, follow her, walk, chase her. You can still see she wasn't used to it. Like, which is going to make it hard for her to get takedowns because she does a lot of chasing and her foot placement is very good. It says that she never calls for the title shot. I mean, yeah, I mean that tells me something. That tells me that proves to me what I've been saying, that she ain't ready. Who's dating? Oh, the Smo and Helen Yee. They got a show together, right? Y'all didn't know they were together? Yeah, I knew they were together. Yeah, I thought they've been together for a while because they'd be doing like a show together. So yeah, I thought they were married. Oh snap! Hold on. Oh, I almost blocked somebody. Hold on. Lafayette said, "What do you think Ladd should do next?" I think Ladd needs to fight down. I mean, way down. I think Ladd's got to fight way down, or just really work on her game. Maybe add a few more people to her corner that can just help her on her execution, man. Like her pressure game. I don't know what it is, man. Like, should she be cut now? Nah, I don't think she needs to be cut yet. Like I said, give her another chance. But I'm not really seeing like top 5 material right now out of her. Yeah, Robot Chicken said Dern needs to be a complete fighter before she can challenge. I mean, that might be a little while too, right? She still has trouble wrestling, man. Like Tisha was handling her. Robert said, glad you came on early. I want to find myself eating late night. Yeah. Ladd goes to Bellator. Could. But not a bad idea. She'd be at 145 though. Cedric said it's like Dern fights to win decisions. She's all about submitting, but doesn't work on ending the fight. Right. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, she kind of waits for an opening for a submission. She doesn't really go after him. She kind of takes advantage of mistakes, which is good, but she doesn't really like go in there and end fights in them. Like even this fight here, like she just didn't have the killer instinct and the footwork to end the fight with Tisha, you know. Lad was asking for a rematch with GDR. MJ said that. Really? Does she want that? I don't think you want that. NYC loner, what's going on? He said he missed this fight. Oh, yeah, go back and check it out, man. It was a good fight. Go back and watch and tell me who you think won, though, Torres or Dern. Darby Crash, what's up? He said Lad needs to change camps. Where's that fire she used to bring? Yeah, that's what I think, man. I think either add some people to her corner or change camps. Yeah, MJ said wants to rematch. She does? Wow. No, man. Yeah, Roger said GDR scorched Lad. I mean, especially this version of Lad, you know, to me, that was the better version of Lad that night. And you saw what the better version looked like. But this one here, GDR won't even like be stepping back to land the counter right hander, you know, fighting off the back foot. She'll just come forward and I think end it now because you see how many times Rocky Pennington hit her with the right hand. She lucky Rocky didn't have that type of power GDR had, right? So you know it's gonna be a repeat. That'll be a repeat. And this time, you know, she probably won't have to blame Herb Dean because it'll be a legit knockout. I'm just saying, you know, because that fight, she complained about Herb Dean stopping the fight, not giving her a chance. But shoot, this version of Lad versus GDR, ready to get back in action. Shoot, it's gonna be one round all over again. Stamina, what's going on? He said, "What have I missed? Any scorching hot takes?" Well, you missed pretty much everything as far as the UFC 273 card. You know, Kay Hansen and Pierre Rodriguez ain't really like hot topic, but you know, Dern Torres, you know, I was talking a lot about that. And I still think Torres won, just to fill you in. But I'm trying to figure out what's next for what's next for Dern. Said how long Rocky before a title shot. Well, she said she wanted to fight Sarah McMahon in the title eliminator. So let's see if she beats Sarah McMahon, maybe they can make that fight. And like I said, anything to me, any of them could get a title shot now if they keep winning. I mean, she's on a 4-fight win streak, right? So if she beats Sarah McMahon, that make 5 in a row. So why not? Ulysses said, I thought Tisha won, and my first thought was robbery, but I gotta watch it again. Yeah, it's robbery in my eyes, but to me, it's like one of those situations where you know you got to beat the judges too. You got to beat the judges if you want that win. And it's obvious she didn't beat the judges in this fight. Let's see, Liz, what's going on? She said Dern and Torres are not champion material. No, not really. Dern definitely not, even though she won the fight. And Torres, very good, a lot of skills, but that lack of kill switch and dominance. Should have went in for the stoppage. You know, that's not championship material, man. Said Beck Rollins and Britain Hart. Oh yeah. They're about the rematch. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, I've been following that. I just haven't covered as much, but I'll start back covering some. And yeah, I do. I didn't see Michaela Maris fight yet. Said I gotta watch it. I've been covering some women's boxing. Savannah and Clarissa, and I'm gonna cover Taylor Serrano and Taylor and Serrano fight. So. But yeah, I want to see that rematch, Beck Rollins and Britain Hart. I mean, Beck Rollins been gone for a minute, even in that world. Yeah, Roger said I think Torres won also. Yeah, I thought she won the fight, man. I mean, it is discouraging because you're like, oh man, like what do you got to do to really win a fight? Like, do you really got to play up to these judges? Like, even if it ain't your style, you have to go in there and walk forward. Like, is that all that wins a fight now? Is just walking forward? Yeah, Brian Williams. Yeah, I don't think Rocky will beat. No, Rocky ain't never beaten Holly. I mean, she's already 0-2 against Holly, and I don't think she can. I don't think she can handle GDR. Well, I give her more of a chance to beat GDR than Holly at this point, just because it's already been proven 2 times. Like if she'd have a chance against anybody, it would probably be GDR to some degree, because Holly already beat her twice, and I don't want to see that anymore. Okay, Hansen not interested in fighting. She just promoting her OnlyFans. Yeah, I mean, you make a lot of money off of that. They make a lot of money off of that. That is the money maker. But I think she just needs to fight down, like down as far as organization. She's only 22 years old, so like I was saying earlier, before y'all were here, she can still grow as a fighter. But I just hope she find that balance between that. Yeah, she might need to do a little bit more. She need to do a little bit more growing up. She's only 22 years old. Come on, like at 22, none of us were talking like this now. We can't be talking like at 22 years old. You ain't, you're not really experienced in a lot of different things. She's still trying to learn how to balance her time and discipline and find out what she wants to do with her life. Like 22, that's not even solid on being a being a fighter. She probably don't even want to be. She could not want to be a fighter at 23. So on that, I'll be easier on her. I'm not really talking like trying to disrespect. I'm just saying like this is still an age where she doesn't even really know if this is what she wants to do, because fighting is not really like a full-on career. It's like an opportunity. I think even Dana White said that, like, it's not like it's career, it's just opportunity that you take and you got to make the most of it. It's a way of life now. Running research, you interview in Chelsea Wednesday, probably, yeah. Robot Checker says you need to interview Carla. I don't think Carla does interviews. And says he thought he Burns won too. A lot of people think Burns won. I ain't see Burns winning though. Only person who can claim to be victim of a big robbery than Tisha is Claudia. Oh boy. Darby said Torres has no real firepower, can't hurt her opponents. Nah, she can't. Yeah, Torres has tiny power, man. Like TJ said, Tisha had hurt Sam Hughes. Yeah, she had hurt Brianna Van Buren a little bit, but that's the thing. Like some of the, the lower fighters, yeah, she took more chances with. She took more chances with the lower level fighters, right? So maybe if she took more chances in this fight, she probably could have hurt Dern. I mean, I thought she landed some good shots on Dern. What about Chicken said Holly Holm should probably retire based on always getting injured. Yeah, I think so too, man. Like, she's kind of at a point too where she looks great. Holly looks great, physically, great shape, great athlete. But fighting, that's like a different story. Any other fighter out of shape that's young and hungry could come in there and beat her just because their fight years are younger. Holly's fight years are up there. Like, she's older than she actually is in fight years. So you got to factor in injuries. What you don't see. I mean, what she looks great on the outside, but as far as inside, how are the knees? How's the brain? How is all of that? I'm gonna watch Hamzat and Burns one more time tonight, and then I'm gonna come back and talk about it. I'm gonna see, yeah, because I still think Hamzat did enough to win. Like I said, nobody's really been making the point about it being a robbery, but no. She said she got mad at fans. Did she? Mm. Well, that's the fighter, man. Like, the fighter always gonna get mad and say, "Oh, I'm not ready." They won't stop until they actually are brain damaged. So they really won't listen. They won't listen until something really, really happens. And they only, like I said, they're the only ones that know their body. I mean, me from from the outside looking in, I don't think she's ever gonna beat Amanda Nunes or anybody like that. Might get damaged more. You definitely get more damage than you will more belts at this point in your career. Yeah, Suarez. I know Suarez is supposed to be recovered now. Ooh, says he said he had a kidney stone. Ooh, how you pass it? He just said medical condition called age. I think it was her foot. I think it was her foot, like her pinky toe or something like that. Aldana had hurt. Said I think because her foot was kind of dragging in that fight. Brian Williams said Holly pulled out on Pena because of a medical condition, not an injury. Right, right. Yeah, yeah. I did a video about that. Yeah, she pulled out because of some type of was it something to do with like pancreas or something? Yeah, it wasn't an injury. It was actually like a medical condition. No, yeah, yeah. It was a serious medical condition. Yeah, it was like something to do with her pancreas, I think. Something like that. Like back in June. Yeah, she didn't get hurt in like training or nothing. It was something that was actually wrong. I can't remember what it was off top, but I think that's what it was. Some of their pancreas, I think. Mark Roberts says Aldana only wants to take fights that make sense. I'm bantamweight. There really isn't that many for her. Honestly, they could probably give her a title shot now. I would like to see Pena versus Aldana. That'd be a good fight. That'd be a good fight. Darby said Jack Slack said Rousey would beat Pena. Do you think that's true? Today? Like, not today. Maybe before, but even then that would have been a tough fight. I don't know, man, because if Pena was to lose, it's because she get reckless like back in the day. Like if they fought back in like 2014, 2015, Ronda would probably pull off a win with the mistakes that Pena makes. And if we're talking back then, Pena's hands weren't that good. So she's not really going to land a lot of strikes that's gonna keep Ronda Rousey honest. Let's be real. Like, her striking wasn't really on fleek like that. Like, a little bit better than Ronda's, but Ronda's aggression, and I think Ronda back then probably would have won. Like I said, that's just me just kind of thinking about it. Back then. Mark said, I would rather make my judgment of Tatiana's performance when she's in the cage. Yeah, I'm gonna wait till she get back in the cage, you know. Running Rainey said, like when Kat Zingano got reckless. Yeah, like Kat made that stupid mistake, just like throwing that flying knee or something, and she just turned her over and submitted her. That's kind of how Pena might get done. You know, like Pena might come in there, have some success wrestling, but Ronda might just judo toss or slam her, and then boom. Because that fast pace is what Ronda does. Fast pace, quick to expose some, mistakes. And if you don't have like the tools to offset Ronda, which is footwork and a jab, then Ronda's definitely going to win the fight. He said Pena's is not talented. Honestly, I don't know. Pena's talented. She's definitely a talent. She's a very, very, very good wrestler. You know, I think she's a very good wrestler. You know, very sharp and naturally tough too. You know, she's naturally tough, but just reckless. I don't think she's like, it takes a lot to do what Ronda had done. Like, I'm not really like a big Ronda fan, but like I said, like talent, Ronda had a great talent with what she was able to do. The talent just wasn't like nurtured enough throughout the career to grow. Yeah, Liz, Kat gave that fight away, man. She gave that fight away against Rousey, man. Like, I don't know what she was doing. Yeah, man. But let's see what else we got before I get up out of here. Ronda doing her WWE thing now. You know, that's just her now. So, no more Ronda in the game of MMA. Ronda's not gonna be around for MMA anymore. So we can forget that. Yeah. What else is going on though? Make sure y'all hit the like button like always. Got 20 people still in here, still talking a little bit. What about Tisha though, man? Like, yeah, and she had a baby. Yeah, said yeah, and she had a baby. And she had a baby now. I don't think that's, gonna be her realm anymore. Says Caesar, how will Rose Carla go? Oh man, interesting fight, man. Definitely not gonna go like it did before. Definitely not gonna be a fight like it did before, man, because Carla has improved, but so is Rose. I think first couple rounds might be competitive. They might be some cautious, boring rounds. But the more and more Carla closes distance, it's going to make Rose have to work. You're going to see her throw more strikes, and she's going to have to commit more in this fight, I think. But how does it go? It's 50-50, man. Really, it is. I think it's going to come down to Rose landing good shots to really get the respect of Carla in this fight. But if Carla can keep that aggression like she did, that she kind of was building off of I know that's 8 years ago, but some of the things that she's been doing, like Yan Janan, she could make this a close fight. But Rose has definitely got much better as far as her technique, man. So can Carla counter that technique? I don't know. I really don't know. I think she could still out wrestle Rose, but getting in there is going to be a problem. So TJ said, in hour 3, can we discuss Kayla and how she would fare in bare knuckle boxing? Oh, we ain't going to hour 3. We'll talk about it right now. I don't think she would fare well in bare knuckle boxing. She's not that type of fighter. Kayla Harrison is not that type of fighter, TJ. Fighters that would fare well in bare knuckle boxing are like Molly McCann, Jin Yoon Kim, Priscilla Cachoeira, Joanna. Those are fighters that could fight bare knuckle boxing. Like Kayla Harris is more of a ground fighter. You know, she do well in like jiu-jitsu tournaments, grappling tournaments, and she's a judoka, right? She's not somebody who likes to get hit in the face or even knows really how to throw hands like that. She wouldn't fare well in bare knuckle boxing at all. Brian said Rose needs to target the body against Carla. I think Carla needs to target the body as well of Carla, of Rose. To me, she's lower to the ground. She's shorter. She's going to have to go to the body of Rose to slow her down. Steel Wolf said yes, Jessica I would be good at bare knuckle boxing. Yeah, that would be her game. I'm gonna do a video on that. I'm gonna do a video. Which WMMA fighters would do well in BKFC? Like if they started getting cut, who would fare well? I know Joanna's one. Molly McCann is one. Shoot, Megan Anderson could be in there right now, man, with the power she packs. She'd be winning all the time. Megan Anderson, Sarge, Rocky Pennington. Not just like I'm not just talking about like technical strikers. I'm talking about fighters that like to bang and got durability. MJ said GDR. Yeah, GDR. GDR is one. Yeah, I said Jin Yoon Kim. I said Molly McCann. Fighters like that. Priscilla Cachoeira. Yeah. Robot said I'm picking Carl and Rose should go to Bellator. Not time for her to go to Bellator yet. But I think I think Carla got a good chance though. TJ said the simp said Suarez comes back. She thinks. Wait. Oh, she said Suarez simps. Suarez comes back. She's gonna be champion BKFC. MJ said Kay Hansen. Yeah, Kay Hansen likes to take some punishment, so she would do fair. She would fare well. Kay Hansen and Cheyenne Velismus. Yeah, Cheyenne Velismus is kind of scrappy. Lamos would do well. Said is Zhang Weili washed. I think those Rose fights really messed up her momentum. They messed up her momentum, yes, but I don't think she's washed. Like, I think being washed up and losing momentum is different. I think you just got to be put back on track. I don't think she's washed up at all. I think she needs to find out who she is again, keep training under Cejudo's camp, keep developing her to be a complete fighter, and we go from there. But I can't say she's washed after just 2 losses. 2 losses to a better fighter. I can't say a person's washed. Now she's washed if she starts losing to like McKenzie, Torres, Ebos, like consecutively. Like if she just keeps losing those fighters, but I don't think she's washed. Okay, yeah, 2 different things. Okay, you mean mentally. I think she's mentally changed. Yeah, I think there's some mental things that aren't the same. But yeah, like you say washed, that's different. Okay, now you're talking about something different. Like if you're talking about mentally damaged, possibly, but you can come back from that. Like, nothing's ever perfect. Like, that's how you build something to be stronger. You tear it up so it can regrow into something bigger and stronger, right? Muscle tears, grows back to adjust for whatever weight it is you lifting, right? So maybe the same thing can happen if she can build from it. That's why I say she got to be around the right people to build off of that damage, and adjust to it. So mentally damaged, yeah, but you can come back from that. You can come back from that as long as you know how to repair it and make it stronger so it never happens again. And I think that happens to every fighter that loses. They get damaged a little bit mentally. It's all how you come back from it. Robot Chicken says, wash, the definition of wash. Yeah. That's what I was saying earlier. Yeah. He means like mental damage, though. Now he explained it more. So, yeah, washed is like Carolina says, I don't see fighters fearing her that way anymore. No, I don't either. Like, yeah, that's the thing. Like, that aura has been broken, but it's on you to come back and say, I can still win and I can still be a killer in my own way. Like, I think, yeah, that kind of happened with Mike Tyson, whenever, he started losing, certain fighters didn't really fear him anymore. But, there's certain fighters that can lose and still keep it, like Andrade. Like, Andrade, she can be stopped and she can lose to Valentina. She can get outworked by Joanna, but she's still the same fighter, right? So, with that, there are some cases where fighters just, they lose it and nobody fears them. But for some reason, people still fear Andrade, right? Just a few days ago, a few days ago, I talked to GDR and she told me that she's coming back. She's still in the UFC's contract. Okay, cool. Y'all see that, right? MJ said a few days ago, I talked to GDR and she told me that she's coming back. She's still under UFC's contract. Well, shout out to GDR. Robert said, why do you hear birds chirping? Because I'm by the window. Because they're outside. It's a nice day. You hear birds chirping because it's a nice day. Either that or you hear a bunch of loony people talking. that's the sound of crazy people. Robot Chicken says Zon cuts her hair now. People think she needs therapy sessions. All right, Brian. He said he got to go. MJ said, yeah, she's watching all these WMMA channels. Oh, okay. Which is good. They should watch it because, I mean, there's most of the ones that are supporting them and they're the ones that are kind of giving them advice on what to do. That's why I say I'm not here to disrespect fighters, but I'm here to call it like it is and just say, oh, this person does this person does that. Liz said, anyone knows the new contenders for the Ultimate Fighting, Pena and Nunes? It's flyweights. It's flyweights. I'll tell you that. Let's see. Helen Peralta's one. Chantel Coates is another. Brogan Sanchez. What's that one girl on Instagram? Killer MMA or something like that. It's more flyweights. Honestly, like I said, I wish they would have did featherweight or bantamweight because I think we have enough flyweights right now. they're good, but I mean, I don't know if they're gonna be like the UFC level best of the best. Like, I don't know if any of them are like on Melissa Gatto's level yet. And Melissa Gatto's unranked. Like, I still think like those girls like Gatto and Ariane Lipsky, AJ Aldrich, they're still like levels above what you see coming into this tough house. So we'll see who stands out in this tough house coming up next month. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, man. Like I said, I was just getting on early because I ain't getting on later tonight. But we will talk later this week. We got some more fights coming up. I think. Do we have another card coming up this weekend? I know I got some boxing to talk about though. It's the other channel. Yeah, is she from the Netherlands or something like that? GDR's from the Netherlands. Yeah, her father's black and her mother's white. Yeah, she's biracial, and yeah, she's Dutch, right? Something like that. Yeah. But yeah, y'all, it's been fun. I'm about to get up out of here. Just wanted to come through early and do this, live stream with y'all so we could talk. Good conversation as always. Shout out to everybody in the chat. And like always, make sure you hit the like button on your way out. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't, if you were listening. And if you missed the live, oh well, you can come back and comment later. Okay, yeah, she's Dutch. Yeah, I figured that. Yeah, I remember hearing that. Dutch from the Netherlands. Yeah, Denise Kilholtz is too. Yep. Okay, Robert said, yeah, Bilal and Bouquet's next week, right? Okay. Who's on that card? Like, women-wise, who's on that card? I can't get to anything right now. All right, y'all. So we're gonna be on let me see, probably be on live Wednesday or something like that. Yeah, GDR is a police officer. Yep. All right. And like always, y'all, Combo Breaker 99. I am out. Subscribe. Peace.